Hello everyone. Welcome. For those of you that have been subscribed to my channel and are consistently watching, you honor the channel here at Sunset Samurais, and I just want to express my gratitude for those that are consistently watching my content and checking it out and hopefully learning a lot. Today is going to be a very special lesson, very extremely special presentation for this lesson today, because today is a very special day. Today is March 25th, 2024. It is the anniversary of the release, the initial release of the live version, first and foremost, of Jimi Hendrix' Band of Gypsys for Machine Gun. And of course, that's the live album because, well, he didn't do a studio version of it. There's just many different live versions out there floating around of Machine Gun, which was an anti-Vietnam protest song. Very classic, very amazing. It is in fact the definitive song and guitar playing of Jimi Hendrix, His Majesty. And also today is the release of Triumph's album Progressions of Power, which has songs like Tear the Roof Off, Finger Talkin', In the Night, Nature's Child, I Live for the Weekend. Excellent album. For those of you who are Triumph fans and do not have that particular album from the trio of Canadian rockers featuring my favorite guitar player, actually before I heard of Randy Rhoads, Rick Emmett. Yeah, I was very obsessed with Rick Emmett when that Just a Game album came out, and ended up getting Rock and Roll Machine and everything else I could get my hands on. I seen them for the Progressions of Power tour. They opened up for Alice Cooper for his Flush the Fashion tour, which is when they were dressed like Nazis and did a song called Clones was the big hit off of that. So there was no theatrics. And so I actually ended up enjoying Triumph a hell of a lot more than Alice Cooper for that particular show at the Richfield Coliseum. Anyway, without any more expressions of on this day in the history of rock and roll, what I would like to do today is do a lesson on how to become a great guitar player. Yes, you heard it, folks. How to become a great guitar player, which is something that I've been striving for since I can remember. So, I'm going to break down some of those techniques and whatnot, explain a little bit about what I'm doing. Keep in mind that I am not a theorist. I do not have knowledge of music theory and scales and modes and that sort of thing. My knowledge of some basic chords and what key they are is very basic. And I've only learned those things in passing, like hanging out with people and so forth. So, yeah, there's not much theoretical approach to what I do. But I can guarantee that if you emulate what I'm going to teach here today for this particular lesson, how to become a great guitar player, and we'll call this one part 1, because I want to do another one. I don't think that I'm going to be able to fit everything on this particular lesson that I want to cover and teach so that you guys can get all this under your fingers. So, here we go. And before I do, I want to make mention of one final point, and that is, okay, I am using an Ibanez Geo. It has the infinity pickups. I love these pickups, by the way. I don't use the bar very much. I'm not big into the whammy bar. I have done some things with it in the past in recording, like when I redid Believer from Ozzy, from Randy Rhoads. But, you know, by and large, I really don't even think about using it. I'm so focused on what I'm doing that I just don't even think about it, you know, as far as resorting to the trim bar. Also, I'm using my Boss Katana, the MK2, the 50 watt. And per usual, as I always mention, my gain is up. I think I have it on the setting for the brown sound. Usually I have it on the lead channel. Today I have it on the brown sound. And, of course, as usual, I always have delay and reverb. And for me, it varies. Like, sometimes I have a lot. Sometimes I use it a little bit. You know, sometimes it's almost halfway, which is about where it's at now, today. And, you know, you guys out there, for your amplification and whatever pedals you use, and in particular to try to emulate what I got going on here today, like I just said, it's gain or distortion right from my amp, reverb, and delay. Predominantly, those are my favorite effects. You know, unless something comes up when I'm recording in a studio that I want to utilize as an additional effect. But again, this is pretty much what I use. You know, it's there, which means I don't use a lot of effects. I mean, that's basically what it is right there. And usually it's right out of my solid state amps. You know, I record wet, and just like now, you're going to hear exactly, you know, how I record, how I play, and which helps me a lot in developing my style. And so, therefore, I just wanted to mention that, because when you are developing your skills as a guitar player and you're striving to become a great guitar player, your tone, your sound, your effects, it has a lot to do with the response of your fingers. No matter what anybody tells you, it's the truth. I mean, we are dealing with electric guitar here after all. All right, so keep that in mind. All right, I'm not going to talk too much when I start playing, and towards the end, I will then break some things down and explain a little bit about what I'm doing. But what I will do with certain things that I won't be talking or explaining, I will slow those certain things down so you guys can see what I'm doing, okay? So, in other words, I'll do some stuff fast, and then I'll slow it down, but I'm not going to really explain anything until the end of the video, all right? So here we go. Part 1 of how to become a great guitar player. Everyone, I hope you enjoyed that. I know I did. So, the first thing is, you got to have a passion for this, and you got to keep that passion, that fire inside burning. Now, I do that a variety of ways. I focus a lot on watching my guitar heroes, obsessing over them, reading about them, listening to them, trying to emulate them, okay? Because it's not always about being a band, because that's just a lot of compromise. You know what I mean? Like, I'm talking about you yourself, how to become a great guitar player, all right? Because this is a path for the self. Now, a lot of what I was doing there, of course, in conjunction with my tone and my sound, as I explained earlier, all right? So, number one, I'm using some basic chords, right? I'm using this fifth chord right here. And right here, same thing. And then I was also doing it here. Then like the A position, what I call it or refer to it as, you know. Your basic D, okay? Okay, and then this one, you know, of course I'm riding the D while I'm using these chords, okay? And a lot of this, okay? Hammer on and pull off, right? A lot of that kind of stuff, and similar but different, you know, right here. To the fifth chords, right? Or okay. That. Of that, and there was a lot of this too. as you can see, I mean, there's a lot of the shredders out there that are constantly climbing scales, right? It's just scales up and down the neck, or arpeggios, 6-string, 5-string arpeggios up and down the neck. I'm not a big fan of that, because it's just, I mean, it's just boring. There is no feeling. See, I like very quick spurts of phrasing and climbing, and then bends and artificial harmonics and all that, and slides and lots of vibrato. So what I mean by that is I like stuff like this, like 3-string arpeggios, right? Like... stuff like that, or something like this, right? So that's what I mean, guys. Alright, so I think this will do it for part 1 of how to become a great guitar player. And we will break down even further more techniques and concepts in part 2. But I just wanted to give you guys a taste of where this is going and hopefully spark your avid interest and get you to realize that it is very possible. And what do I mean by that? It is possible to play like the Oliva Master. Because that to me is what defines great. I mean, I've got a handful of guys when I was a kid that I really admired, all the way up through to my teenage years and adulthood. Okay, so that first started with Ace Frehley, Jimmy Page from Zeppelin, and of course Tony Iommi. Then, Randy Rhoads. Once I heard Randy Rhoads, that was it. It was over. And Chris Oliva, for certain. And lest we forget, Yngwie. I was a big fan of Yngwie as well. So, that pretty much would sum up my major influences and how I define for me in my own mind what I conceivably think is great, right? Becoming a great guitar player. So, as you can tell by my playing, that's where my influence resides for certain. And I hope you guys have enjoyed this. If you like this, please help me out. I mean, it definitely goes a long way. If you like my content, do not forget to hit that like, smash that like, and share. And please subscribe. Don't forget to do that. That way you will be notified with my newest video that I put out when it actually happens, which I do try to put up content several times a week. Thank you very much, everyone. Have a great one. And don't forget, listen to Band of Gypsies, the album from 1970, live, and Rick Emmett and Triumph, Progressions of Power, killer album. And I will see you next time on part 2 of how to become a great guitar player. Thank you very much, everyone. Have a great evening, and I will see you very soon. Good night.